Welcome to United Taste of America. We're in the state of Pennsylvania today. Pennsylvania was one of the original 13 colonies founded by William Penn, a Quaker from England, and played such a huge role in the Revolutionary War because in this state and in this city of Philadelphia is where the Declaration of Independence was signed at the Second Continental Congress at Carpenter's Hall in downtown Philadelphia. Pennsylvania has a rich culinary history. You've got the Pennsylvania Dutch, the German settlers in the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area that created such foods as chow chow or scrapple or shoe fly pie. You've got the famous Hershey Chocolate Company based in Hershey, Pennsylvania. You've got the Bramante brothers' famous hoagie sandwiches in Pittsburgh, where they actually serve cold cuts with French fries on the sandwich. But probably the most renowned dish in all of Pennsylvania is a dish known by one word: Philly. That's the famous Philly cheesesteak. We're on the corner of 9th and South Philly on a blustery, cold, rainy day. But you want to heat things up? Talk about who has the best cheesesteaks. And we're here where there are two very big rivals, Pat's, the king of steaks, and Geno's. Today we'll look at both and talk about the great Philly cheesesteak and why it's so iconic in this city and in this state. I'm here with Geno Vento, who is the son of the legendary Joey Vento, who started Geno's back in 1966, second generation restaurateur. Tell me a little bit about your dad and the start of the restaurant.
Well, my dad started in 1966, like you said. He had, $6 to his name. He borrowed $2,000 off my grandfather, and he turned that, with only a ninth grade education, turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. One customer at a time we built. Because, there was a ton of cheesesteak places, and across the street there was Pat Steaks, which he started in the 30s. My dad didn't come in until the 60s. So we built our business one customer at a time, one cheesesteak at a time, and is to what you see right now.
Well, it's amazing that he would come to this location and compete with a rival literally across the street. What made him think he could be successful here?
Well, my dad was only 5'7". But he thought he was 6'1". So, when you told him he couldn't do something, he would prove you wrong. So if he wanted to be the best, he had to beat the best. So we went, at the time, Pat's was like the only game in town, 24 hours. He started in the 30s. So Dad, his father started and had like luncheonettes and sandwiches and stuff like that. And then at age, I believe 17, 18, he wanted to open up this place. And they gave him two chances, slim and none. They're like, just take that $2,000 and throw it out the window, burn it. What's this kid going to do? And like I said earlier, it's one customer at a time, one cheesesteak at a time. He worked, 18, 20 hours. There was never a time clock. And, we have a business that's almost 60 years, but most of our longest standing worker is 52 years. So, that says something right there.
No, it does. And it really says something about your culture. I love the fact that you've had people that have worked here for literally generations and or decades and continue to come in here. And you've fed a lot of families because of that reason.
Yeah, and it's more like a family. My workers are, like my family, but they're here. So it's like their family more than they are with their own family at home. Because, the shifts are 9 and 10 hours long. And some of them work 6 days a week, 7 days a week.
Yeah, and you're open 24 hours a day, which is really interesting from that standpoint. And do you close for Christmas? Or do
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Christmas and Thanksgiving. Yep. Okay, that's pretty cool.
So and believe it or not, we have a hard time closing because people come in from all over thinking that they can get a cheesesteak, and I'm like, it's Christmas Eve. Don't you want to be with home with your family? Like, no, we came for a cheesesteak.
No, we came for a cheesesteak. That's pretty.
And
that's interesting.
Sometimes it takes like over an hour just to close.
All right. Well, the star of the show is the dish itself.
Yes.
The cheesecake. Let's talk about the base. What kind of bread do you use first?
We use Lycios bread, especially I want to say, I don't want to say designed, but formulated for us, because Dad was never happy with certain bakes and everything. So he got back in the day with the bakers and came up with his own recipe. We have our own slits in our roll. We have like 3 that go across that's unique to us. And with the sustainability and, baking it a couple times a day, getting the fresh bread, we had to want to have our own unique touch to the cheesesteak. And it's not rocket science. I mean, we use thinly sliced ribeye. We use the soft Italian roll, but it has a crust on the top, so it's more like a pillow inside. So because you already have the meat, you don't want it too dense and heavy. And then you have the white onions that we saute.
And then you have a choice of cheeses.
Yep, we have Whiz, American, Provolone, and Cooper Sharp.
Have you added things over the years?
A matter of fact, this year we added a cheesesteak egg roll. So we take the ends of our meat, we grind it up, we add some American cheese to it, we double wrap it in a wonton wrapper, and then deep fry it. So it's like a mini cheesesteak, on a plate with a fry. So and if you want something different or try a change, you get the egg roll.
Did you always serve fries from the get-go?
Oh, yeah. We always had the fries. We also have roast pork. We have Italian hoagies and homemade meatballs.
And you told me a few minutes ago that you're one of the few restaurants that serves both Pepsi products and Coke products, which
Not
is
even
pretty
Disney
interesting.
World.
That's so cool, I think. And you have really, really good coffee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We use Lacus.
That's it. So, my dad was a police officer. One of the things I
really?
noticed was the number of police patches outside. Tell me about, why you honor the police here.
Well, my dad was big into the police and the fire and protection and, just for what they do, and they put their lives on the line and, they risk themselves every day. So we used to, give out like discounts for sandwiches, or the beat cops that used to come to the steakhouse and check on us, they would get like free meals basically. And then they would have the patches. And we started getting patches, not from the Philly cops, but from the outside cops, because they would see the cops in here. And then the Philly cops started bringing the patches. And then we got, all the way from Hawaii, we got Texas, Kansas, Chicago, New Hampshire, everywhere. We even have Puerto Rico, we have Italy, we have patches from all over the world, and we have at least, I would say, 350 to maybe 400 out there, but we ran out of room, so we're starting to put things on the ceiling now and everything. But it's really nice that we were able to give back, but it's more of a culture and it's a brotherhood, so that when the cops see that, we're behind them and everything, and they see their patches, or they take their family and go, look, my patch is up there, that kind of thing.
That's pretty cool.
Brings back memories.
It does, and it honors them for the service that they do.
They do an amazing job.
I also noticed you have a number of challenge coins, military challenge coins. Tell me about that.
Well, they started, along with the patches, they would come in and do that secret shake, or, and then you get the patch. And at first I was like, oh, coin. I'm like, I didn't know what it was. And then they gave me the back history, and then another time, another back history. And we just put them up, I think we had 5 or 6 of them. And then when people saw them, it started being a chain reaction. Then we started getting a ton of them. So we must have 40 of them up there at least.
Well, South Philly is very much blue-collar working community that has always honored our first responders, our police, our firemen, our military people. And it's such a great thing that you're doing to honor them.
And my dad did a lot of charity work and had fundraisers here for the fallen officers, and, just anything that we can do to help, that we did. And I try to carry it on, with different charities and stuff like that.
That's terrific. Well, I think it's time to have one of your famous cheesesteaks.
With or without?
I'm going to have it with, for sure. All right,
well,
thanks again. Thanks for having us today, Geno. I'm here at Pat's King of Steaks, started in 1930. I'm with Pat's nephew, or great-nephew, Frank Oliveira, and you're going to show me today how to make a world-famous Pat's cheesesteak.
I'm going to show you how the Philadelphia steak sandwich and the Philadelphia cheesesteak were invented.
That's cool. I love
We do it old school here.
I like it.
A lot of new ways to do it, but
I like old school.
Old school's great. I'm not really a big fan of pineapple and ham on pizza.
No, I'm not either.
All right. So
now, do you get your meat from the same place?
So our meat primarily comes from Australia.
Okay.
So it's imported ribeye, and we use a soybean oil.
Okay.
And we lay it on the grill like this. You'll see some on the side over here. We always have some ready to go.
Oh man, that looks so good.
Old school. See, we cut our meat kind of thin, falls apart.
Yep.
Other places, they sit and they chop it.
Yep.
There's no need to do that. So you see how thin the meat is? It just falls apart.
Yeah,
It only takes moments to cook it.
Now the question becomes is how many sandwiches has that grill done? That's frightening.
Well,
to think about that.
since 1930, I think this is probably our 4th grill.
Wow.
Since we just did a huge renovation of the building, because basically we were falling through the floor.
Yep.
So we had to do something to keep from being in the basement. All with onions?
Now tell me about your bread. Who bakes your bread?
So we actually, our bread is made for us and a bunch of other people in Philadelphia too by our baker, Aversa Bakery. They're in New Jersey. But we actually, we're getting it 3/4 baked and we're baking it off. We're finishing it off ourselves. This way we have the freshest bake possible.
Wow.
So whenever we run down to maybe 100 sandwiches left or so,
You start
we
baking
start baking again. This way it's always nice and fresh and it's not laying around. So we're open 24 hours. So we're baking around the clock. We're making them around the clock.
Right. White onions.
White onions. This is Spanish onion.
Yep.
Everything's done in house. So we cut our own meat. We cut our own onions. We don't make our cheese. Some of that's made in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Kraft Cheese Whiz is our #1 cheese, believe it or not. But we also have American cheese, we have provolone cheese, and we have the fashionable cheese of the moment, which is Cooper Sharp, which everybody's using.
Okay, I see. And then you got a little Jardiniere there, a little.
Yeah, we have a little peppers,
Yep.
and we have some mushrooms.
Yep.
But this is how it goes. So we have the meat that's cooked over here. Put it on. We don't measure it. We don't do any portion control. Whatever looks right. My accountant's not happy about that, but that's the way it goes. And when we put it on, the onions on it, and then we bring it over here to the Cheese Whiz. This is like liquid gold.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
And that's it. That's an original Pat's Philly cheesesteak.
That's beautiful. Now your uncle was quite a character.
He was a character.
I mean, he was in the boxing business.
He was in the boxing business. He was in the real estate business. So he used the money that he made here to buy real estate, and also he had that piece of property across the street. And then he loved boxing, so he managed a light heavyweight champion of the world, Harold Johnson, for a while. He was friends with Cassius Clay before he became Muhammad Ali, and yeah, he was all over the place.
And he also was a big friend and fan of some of the great Italian singers.
Yes, Vic Damone, Al Martino, Tony Bennett, Rosemary Clooney, like anybody who was anybody knew Uncle Pat. And
it sounded like a lot of them that were of Italian descent knew Uncle Pat.
A lot of them of Italian descent, but he found himself often at this theater in Philadelphia called the Earl Theater, where he would take photographs with, out there it was like predominantly an African American theater. And he would take onions. He would take pictures with the people that were there, and he would get them blown up life-size. I have some of them survived over the years, but these are the smaller versions that are outside. And he would get them blown up as big as he could. And people would come to see who Pat was hanging out with. And that's what he did. And that's how he was like an influencer before there were influencers. He was doing it back in 1930. Peppers and mushrooms, no onions?
Pepper, mushroom, onions.
Well, obviously, South Philly in that era was such a blue-collar area.
Yeah,
that
but
I'm sure that, having access to what would be a quick yet affordable meal and one that you could eat, kind of take and eat on the run was very, very important.
We were like the only place open 24 hours. Actually, us and my competitor across the street, Geno, I think we're the only two that are still open 24 hours in the city.
And do you do good business in the middle of the night?
In the middle of the night, yeah, we do well. I mean, when the bars close at between 12 and 1 in the morning, people are looking for a place to go. And sometimes, people that come down from New York or come up from D.C., there's a story. President Biden, when he was in college, I actually used to come here often. I used to sit with him and have conversations with him. He said when he was in college, he used to come up here, scrape up some money, get a dozen sandwiches or so, and then take them back to school and sell them. He said, that's how I paid for my tuition.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
So we've hosted many, many presidents. I mean, Obama, Donald Trump's been here a few times. He was actually friends with my grandfather when my grandfather was alive. And George Bush never came, either one of the Bushes, but Laura Bush came before.
Yeah.
And Bill Clinton used to, he was always here before he became a vegan.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. He was pretty good about eating.
Yeah, he
had a big appetite.
He loved to eat. Yeah, he loved to eat. And then who else? Al Gore and senators. Anybody who's anybody's ever been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in that respect.
Yeah, if all this block could talk, the stories that have happened here, the people that have been here, the conversations.
The conversations, the people. It's so funny. I was actually doing a walk and talk for some friends of mine, and I said, at any given time, a movie star or somebody can come up that's famous, and they're like looking at me like, yeah, okay, Baldy. That really happens. And just as I was saying it, Rob Lowe got out of a limousine, and I was like, hey, Rob Lowe, what's going on? And they were looking at it like I staged it.
Staged it.
He says, oh, I'm in town for this one-man show that I'm doing. It's crazy like that. Or you can stand in line, and Rob Reiner was a big fan of ours. And Henry Winkler.
Okay.
Henry Winkler.
So the Fonz
used to come all the time.
Basis.
The Fonz actually he wrote some children's books and actually mentioned Pat Stakes in one of his children's books.
Oh, that's really
cool. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
We've been fortunate that we've been featured in several movies, and probably one of the most famous movies, Rocky, the original one. So in 1976,
What on this?
Sylvester Stallone
One more probably left.
filmed his first movie here.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty
I remember
cool.
asking my father. So 1976, I was all of 12 years old. And I said to him, Dad, I said, can I come down and watch them film the movie? He said, no, it's too late. They had closed this down for the night. And,
This one is.
oh, okay. And they filmed the movie, and we have a plaque in the ground commemorating it. It was a pretty exciting time. And, 1976, there really wasn't much going on in Philadelphia.
Right.
And that would still be held as one of the biggest groundbreaking movies for the Steadicam and everything that was used in it.
Right.
And people come from everywhere just to take a picture of the plaque in the ground.
Right.
And,
well, this is the reason that we say this is the iconic dish of the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you're just not here at the right time, though. We're like a little between.
Oh no! If you had been here at the wrong time, you wouldn't have time to talk.
Oh no, I'd have time to
This
talk.
is
I can
great.
multitask very easily.
This has been terrific. Thank you
it's
for your
my
time.
pleasure.
We appreciate it very much, and we look forward to continuing to talk and continuing to do stuff.
Now I'm looking
together.
forward to
Thanks.
another 95 years.
That's pretty good.
I may be a little old, but I'll try to hang in there.
I like it. Thanks,
All right.
Frank.
Thanks for
I
stopping by.
appreciate it. Thanks.
Take care.
So that's a wrap on Pennsylvania and the world famous Philly cheesesteak. We'll see you next week on United Taste of America.